Okay. Hi, guys. Can everyone see and hear me? I was ready at 8. I'm just a couple minutes late because I was just eating a big plate of kale. I'm a vegetarian, and I went to go live, and I could see that I had a couple big green pieces of kale in my teeth, so that was not okay. So let me just make sure everyone can hear me. So somebody tell me in chat if you can hear me. Can't believe it's the last day in August. I cannot believe it's the last day in August either, Sugar Beet. Let's see. You guys hear me? I might have a little delay here. Sounds good. Thank you, Dave G. Thank you so much. So I miss you guys. I haven't been on in a while, and this live was rescheduled twice. I'm sorry about that. My commitment this fall is to get better about lives. I didn't do anything this summer. I was looking for a different job, and I got one. I'm a special education teacher working in a new school district. I'm really excited, but I'm going to miss my old kids very, very much. Got hair in my face. And then my best friend, who lives in Philadelphia, which is like 4 hours away from here, called and she surprised myself and my son with a trip to like a resort and water park. It was like ridiculous fun. And then when I got back, I was just so tired. Last night I had to go to bed before 8. So I'm sorry about that, guys. I have, oh, look. So I'm a special education teacher. And just so you know, this is, one of the few things I do, but I love it. And I breed bunnies. Look at this adorable little baby bunny. Oh, this little bunny is 2 weeks old. And this little bunny has a little litter mate that wanted to say hello too. Oh, your white does not look good on camera. And I also have a yoga business and now this YouTube channel. So I'm pretty busy. So I'm sorry about that. And I'm glad to see all of you guys. Yeah, they're Holland Locks. They grow to be up to like 4 pounds. They have floppy ears. They're super cute. I have a couple that just run around the house. They're litter box trained. They're really great animals. They're smart. So, but I bet you guys don't really want to hear about that. Let me turn off the notifications. Oh, thank you, Joan. That's so nice. Thanks, guys. So I added Tiger Girl, Joan Bradley, Desired, um, Dave G, Archimedes Girl, Nancy N is a moderator, and oh, Bree Grant, who's going to be on a little later. She wanted to come up on open panel tonight. And of course, Seeking the Truth with Dave, who I have to thank, as always. He called me up and he's like, hello, dumbass. This is how you add Dave G as a moderator. No, he didn't say that. But without him, I'd have a hard time knowing what to do sometimes to get things set up. StreamYard and YouTube in general are still like a very new thing to me. So that's that. Okay, so I also, because I just took a little break from, doing the YouTube thing because I had to pay attention. I have things going on with the rabbits. I had some litters that I had to find homes for. And my yoga business is starting back up in the fall after a long break because of, guess why, the pandemic. And just got out of the shower a little while ago. Oh, there we go. That's how I fix that. And I'm also getting ready to go back to school. So, you just had to take a little break, not for any other reason than I had to pay attention to other things. So, unfortunately, I'm also not completely caught up on what everyone else has been doing on YouTube. So, I don't know if you guys saw, I did post a video. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before that I just had to, add some visuals to it. And I added video of mostly of the girls just because I think it's so important for us to always, remember what this case is about. And I think, everyone that comes to these lives or that I see in chat, I know that you guys all have a total sense of why we are doing what we're doing. When it comes down to it, for me at least, and I think it's the same for you, it's about two things. It's about doing right by the victims in this case. And by the victims, I of course mean those people who tragically and senselessly lost their lives. And You know, as far as how things really played out in August of 2018, I've said before, and I'll say it again, I am not fully decided on where I stand about that. But, if Chris Watts, for any reason or to any degree, had any wrongful convictions, was charged of anything he shouldn't have been charged of, he's a victim too. In the victim category, I also, in my mind and my heart, sit the Rusek family and the Watts family and their friends. These are all victims, right, of what happened. So I think we are all here, for the sake of the victims. And I know for myself personally, there's also a big issue of, this being one of the many, 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 many cases out there, in the United States, particularly where, I believe things were not done the way they should have been. The prescription, as dictated by our justice system, that things did not play out the way that they should have. And I have a really big problem with that, for several reasons. It disrespects the victims, it does not ensure public safety, it does not help to ensure that our justice system, the best parts of our justice system, because when it's working right, it's a really good system. And when, there's a case and things, there's, corruption or laziness or whatever it may be, that those things start to chip away at our justice system, which ensures our freedom. And I think, with our last couple of elections, we in the United States have seen just how fragile our democracy and our justice system can be. So I think it's important that we're always paying attention and that we are always, always holding a high standard and demanding that the people that are in positions to enforce justice in this country do their job correctly. So I think those are the two reasons we are here. Oh, what the video that I had put out yesterday or the day before was about was, I had been just in the past couple weeks watching, different creators. And of course, like I always follow Seeking the Truth with Dave, and I always follow Red X. And, I think, first of all, I want to say, I think what she does is brilliant, and what I had to say has nothing to do with not thinking that. I think she is like amazing. And, I haven't tried to debunk anything she's put out there because I don't think that there's any reason to. So it wasn't not about that at all. I have the absolute most respect for TJ, like highest. But there are people out there, creators out there, and people that participate in our YouTube community who have a lot of different ideas, who have done research of their own, who have questioned what the district attorney's office has put out, rightfully so. I think it needs to be questioned. And there are, a few different kind of streams of thought, let's say. And sometimes they're going in different directions. So, that just makes my head spin because when I listen to one creator talk about their reasons for coming to a certain conclusion, their logic is flawless, their research is deep, their efforts are admirable. And in that moment, whatever they have to say, I'm like, yeah, 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 that's it. But then I'll turn the channel and I'll hear another creator, with amazing research, perfect logical thinking and taking logical steps to get to their conclusion, but they will have a different conclusion. And they sound right to me too. So, what do we do about that? Over the past couple of years, as I've been exploring this case and reading through discovery and looking at different elements, I myself have seen things that I thought were off. Oh, thank you very much, Joan. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm just catching a couple of comments as they fly by here. And some things I've wanted to make a video about and talk about, I don't know, I'm very shy about that stuff for some reason, because I think, well, I couldn't possibly be correct about this. Why has nobody, seen this before? I don't know. But as I've told you guys before, I have, been bothering is my word for it, people that I know that are experts in different fields about different elements of this case. I had been trying to get a group from law school I attended a long time ago. Um, and I'm not a lawyer now, I'm a special education teacher, but that's a long story. To look at this case. I'd been trying to get them to look at this case for a really long time. And I think it's because of the efforts of many of the creators who are putting in a lot of hard work to dig deep into this case and to find out what is wrong with this case, that someone from that group is finally looking at it. So this just happened. I don't know. I told Seeking the Truth with Dave about it like a week and a half ago, I think, or something like that. Very recent. Now, I've been trying to get him to take a look at this for almost 2 years. So the fact that he's looking at it now as a representative of this pro bono group, think of it as it's something like maybe like the Innocence Project. It's much smaller scale. This group, they are based in Newark, New Jersey. Now, if you know anything about Newark, New Jersey, it is one of the most, it has one of the highest rates of minority ethnicities and races of any major city in the country. It's also largely and hugely economically depressed city in northern New Jersey, right outside of New York City. In fact, where the law school is, the whole side of the law school is like windows. You can see lower Manhattan. It's a stone's throw away. I was actually there on 9/11, and we saw the first plane hit on the train ride in, and then unfortunately had like a front row view to, what everything that was happening at the towers, which again is another story. But it's right outside of New York City. And because of where they're located in this largely minority, hugely economically depressed city, most of the work they do has to do with equity within the justice system. And, they will even take cases like, a black man is given 2 life sentences because he was apprehended with a small amount of weed, essentially. Like, seriously? Or, things like that. But they've also done some pretty big notable cases as well. So today, anyway, I have some things to report from what he has said. I really wanted him to come onto the channel, of course. I figured that would be a no, but he's not willing to do that. And then I was kind of giving him a hard time about it. And he asked, well, how many actual practicing attorneys have you seen appear on YouTube to discuss this case? And there's very few. If you guys know of any, please tell me because I would like to hear from them. I then asked him if I could do a voice recording, and his answer was a little delayed, indicating he was considering it, but he ultimately said no. So I'm going to still keep working on that. The other person that I spoke to is someone who I used to work with in site acquisition. And I also said in that video I was talking about and on my lives, I'm 42 years old. I'm a special education teacher now, and I've done a few things in my life. You know, I like use the phrase like jack of all trades, master of none. Other than yoga teaching, I've been doing that for 20 years. It took me a while to sort of, find out where I wanted to settle my roots as far as the career went. So I dipped into this and dipped into that. So I know these people from those different fields. So this person also works in site acquisition, and super quick, what site acquisition is when any of the cellular companies, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, whatever, when they need to expand their cellular capacity, or when they put out, when they're just improving the speed of like voice over data or whatever it may be, they're going to have to put up new equipment. It used to be that we were putting up whole new towers. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to go find land that was at the correct elevation, number one, for a tower. And then you would have to work through all the legal red tape, like what restrictions exist there. Somebody owns that land. So after you figure out what all of the restrictions are, you then go to that landowner and you cut a deal with them and you try to negotiate a good deal on behalf of, I mostly worked for Verizon. I did a lot of work when the Pope came to Philadelphia a few years ago, and I actually got to head up a portion of it for what we call the Pope Project, which was very cool. I wasn't there when he arrived though. And so my friend, who is a cellular data expert, now works in this field. He used to be a higher up, and he used to be in a vice president role for Verizon itself. And he can look at anything that's really digital or cellular data and make a whole lot more sense of that than I can. Okay. I need a drink. Let me catch up on chat real quick here. Hi, Lily. I'll sing you a lullaby. You don't want to hear me sing. She said she's listening while she's dropping off to sleep. Ian Russell. Hi, Lisa Donahue, Lily Shaw, Carrie 56, Mama Jane D, my kindred soul. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Tiger Girl, thank you so much. Dave G and Archimedes Girl, thank you so much. Always a big thanks to Seeking the Truth with Dave. I feel like I owe him an arm or something, like one of mine. Let's see. That's what I'm seeing here. We are fighting with a case here in Tennessee right now that are adding up a 5-year-old girl. Oh, yeah. Mama Jane D, she was just telling me about Summer Wells. And I've been following that. I haven't done anything on it because I noticed that many of the creators that were covering Chris Watts went right to Summer Wells. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to like run in that crowded group. I am going to be putting out my first 2 videos about Lindsay Buziak this week. And she was murdered in Victoria, Canada, which is in British Columbia in 2008. No arrests have been made. There's a lot of corruption in that case. I don't know if anyone knows about it. And we'll see how that goes from there. Hi, Emma Grant. Hi, Kat Raphael. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Hello, good evening. Let's see who else we have here. Okay, Tammy Clark. Hi, Tammy Clark. I love Dave too. Hi, Carol Jones. Aussie girl Jen. Sugar Beet. Good girl. Hi, good girl. Oh, I'm so glad you're able to make it. Debbie McLean, so glad you could make it too, guys. Awesome. I'm so happy to see you guys here. Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this. While I am reporting on some of the basic impressions that I received from the attorney who he's a criminal defense attorney who does this pro bono work in the group that I was mentioning, and then also my friend who is a cellular data expert. Would anyone like to come up on panel so we can discuss as I am reporting on these issues? There's like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, good, Joan. Yeah. The Lindsay Buziak case is very interesting. And, her dad I respect this man so much, has been just fighting tirelessly for justice for his daughter. And, he says at times he gets weak and, what really motivates him and feeds him and inspires him to keep going is when, people like us get involved and show that we care. So I want to give that to him because he deserves to have justice for his daughter. I mean, my Lord, can you imagine? Okay, Seeking the Truth with Dave Candy's at work. Okay, thank you though, Dave. Does anyone want to come up? I'll give it like another couple minutes. If not, that's okay. I'll just let you know what's going on. I wasn't able to. Oklahoma Girls Kitchen. Hi there. How you doing? That's right. Yeah, that's right. Data does not lie. Data does not lie. You are totally right. Oklahoma Girls Kitchen. I like that name a lot. Hi, Bob Murray. How you doing? Oh, St. Martin. Oh wait, Ireland. Oh, Ireland. I thought you said Island with St. Martin. I go there. You're right. Data does not lie. But something interesting that I learned from my friend, I'm going to call him Mark. my friend who looked at some of the cellular data, we're going to call him Mark. And then my friend who was looking at the legal aspect of things, go by his first name, which is Alex. I know a couple that are involved in that group, so I think that's okay to say. Tumbleweed, hey Tumbleweed, how you doing? Does anyone want to come up on panel while I'm talking about this? Anyone? I know Bree Grant wants to come up. She should be on here soon. Nope, no one. Okay. Now, first thing that I guess first of all, I'll talk about what the impressions the attorney had of this case. I think you have to look into psychology of all suspected. Yep. And as we're talking about these experts in different fields, I am calling myself the expert in some of the psychological aspects of this case. Emma just talked about this. I do have a master's degree in applied behavioral analysis, which is a very specific methodology in psychology. In schools and with working with students in special education, how we use applied behavioral analysis is to look at different behaviors that the student is exhibiting that are just not serving, the students better good or are disruptive to the classroom. So we look at the outcome of the behavior, and then we look at things that precede that behavior, and just in simplistic terms, kind of things that you can do to intervene in the cycle of antecedent, what causes the behavior, and the ultimate behavior to change it ever so slightly at first. But there's a lot of psychology that works, behind that. Hi, Mia, how you doing? Mia, would you like to come up on panel? I was just going to report on some things. I was asking if anyone would like to come up on panel when I'm doing that. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Great. Joan wants to come up. And then Mia, I'd love to have you up too. Anyone. All right. Well, let's see. So, all right, I'm going to drop the link. If one of the mods could, get rid of the link, and after she gets it, that would be great. I feel like I still got that kale in my teeth. I keep licking my teeth. All right. Here we go. Oh, hold it. Do that again. Copy clipboard. Yep, and paste. There we go. Here we go. Link. There we go. And then I'll just wait for Joan to get on. And while we do that, we can look at this cute little bunny. Little bunny. Don't you love her little light white paws? And we say, oh, look, they remembered to put their socks on. Oh, hi, sweetie. Love my little baby bunnies. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Oh, look, she's saying hello. Hello. All right. Okay. Oops, I got to split the screen here. There we go. So, Joan, did you get the link? Oh, hey, thanks, Dave. Really awesome to know. I have so much to learn. Thanks, I appreciate that. They're really cute, Mia. They're Holland Lops. They get up to be about 4 pounds. I have a rabbitry and we raise Holland Lops. I have 17 resident bunnies at the house. Oh, here comes Joan. All right. So I'm gonna go now Joan, give me 1 second, sweetheart. I want to go take that link down real quick before, Oh. Hide. Okay, great. All right, Joan, I'm going to add you to. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me. I didn't expect to be coming up, but I'm so I might as well.
You're all good. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's always, I like it when someone else is up here.
No, I know.
I imagine
you're doing pretty good though.
Thanks. And Bree Grant just got here. She wants to come up too. So perfect. Awesome. We can't have rabbits here in Queensland, Australia. Karen, oh, she just said we can't have rabbits here in Queensland, Australia. Last year, one of my the things I did as a special education teacher was I was a consultant in a science teacher's room. So he taught living environment. So that's freshman science for high schoolers. And we were talking about, I can't even remember what the species are called. It sounds like the word invade, but certain species that can't go to other places, although the species might be common somewhere, like here in New York, that rabbits cannot go to, is it Australia? Because
Well, I
it
didn't
would
know that.
disrupt the balance of the ecosystem, basically, which I found to be just fascinating. So. Okay, Joan. So what I'm gonna, talk about first is what the attorney that I've been talking to, Alex, is looking at, and he, has been looking at this case. He hasn't, I've asked him a couple times, do you guys think that you would take on this case? And he's told me that there is, a whole process, of course, that they have to go through. I did inform him that, we are working with this deadline of November 6th, the November 6th deadline, by which time Chris Watts would have to file some kind of an appeal. Now, he did tell me, and I'm going to find out more information about this from him this week, because I think it would certainly be critical to pass on to the family, that aside from just filing the appeal or the 35C, there are other motions that don't have to point to something within discovery that is so specific that could push back that deadline. He
Oh,
said there's a whole slew of these things that are possibilities out there. He wasn't ready to give me any options at that time because he said he needs to look at things a little more. And of course, he wants to be, he's a professional. He wants to be accurate in what he's saying, right?
right.
So, there was a lot, as you guys know, the discovery is 1,916 pages. So he was kind of like, give me a place to start. It's called post
Yeah.
conviction relief. Okay. Dave knows already. Dave says it's called post conviction relief. So let me actually just put that in my notes file here just to make sure that, because Dave, what I just want to do, of course, is to make sure that anything that is known about, it's known about. But if there is anything more that is not known about, I want to make sure that all those options are out there. Okay,
I
ready?
just, I wonder if he had a lot of attorneys contacting him. Like, I would think he would have a lot of them because people want cases like that. And
Right.
if they have, if they haven't, like, you don't really hear that part, I guess. But I'm sure they had to have
I
because
would
they're doing like.
imagine.
But you know what gets me is that nobody has said one word about NK for her. She wanted the book deal so bad. Where is she? Come clear your name. I just don't know how. Come that if you probably answered questions of you because there were so many lies and just answered them loopholes, people would probably back off.
Right. And,
I,
and
I,
that's always been a question for me. Why wouldn't she do that? But Joan,
unless
that's
there's a reason.
actually a perfect segue into what he had
The
to
only
say. Go ahead.
I was thinking, no friends. People like to make money. I'm surprised nobody's made. Oh, I'll be on this. I'll do that. I just can't believe it. Especially somebody's like people are that they're just not. They disappeared. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, in my mind, when I think about that question, I feel the only answer that I see that, Dave. Yep. The only answer I think that satisfies the question you're asking is that they've already received their money. They're already being paid
Yeah,
off.
that's
Because
what I
I'm
mean.
sorry, nobody has good enough of a group of all of your friends and family members that when times are tough, everybody is in
Exactly.
is hurting financially from time to time. It's just mostly how it is. So there's, somebody is going to say, man, I really could use that money. And they are going to go and talk and know that it's going to be an easy cashing in to tell like this story of NK. So the fact that nobody she knows has done that to me is just about as solid evidence as you get that they must already
Something
be getting
happened.
paid
Yeah.
off. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it. I mean, I just don't understand how everything just stops because that's so ridiculous to me because like you know what I'm trying to say, like oh okay, you just stopped, we just stopped. What if he was crazy in his head and he really, you know, how can you go on that word alone,
Right, right.
especially
Oh,
when they could appeal it?
right. Okay, so I'm going to stop you there, Joan, because you are hitting on all of the things that I spoke with Alex, the attorney, about. Like exactly. Okay. So now,
Okay.
first of all, one thing that I know a lot of people were talking about, um, including Mia, and she did a live. I caught some of it. That was she was going right down the road that I had been thinking when I was looking at the timeline in regards to did Shanann really get home at 1:48? So, that's really like this critical time in the entire case because to say
I
that she
know
did
that
or
was
did
good,
not
Mia.
is going to change possibilities of how things played out. So, that was one of my first questions to him. So, his take on that was what he said to me was to mess around, to fudge the timeline when the timeline in those, in that those moments is so critical to the outcome of the case. He felt would be a really unprecedented way of, messing around with the information. He was just like, I just do not believe that they
Right.
mess with that timeline, like, because he felt that that would just be so easy to prove, like, look at technology, that would be so easy to prove. And he just felt like there was no way that that would have happened. Did he look any further into the data or anything? No. He just looked at what the timeline was how it was provided in the discovery. So then he just had given me the example of like, well, how long does it take to get to Newark International Airport to, where I used to live up in that area? And I said, oh, like, 15 minutes or whatever. He said, well, go get on Google Maps. How long does it tell you? It was like 35 minutes. And I was like, no, because you don't go that way. So I mean, it was a very simple, basic conversation, but that's what he had to say about that. But his feeling was that there was no way that they would, if they were going to go in and mess with things because there were corrupt motivations, it wasn't going to be something like the timeline that's front and center in this case. Okay, because everyone's going to be picking at it and poking at it and
Yeah.
peeling away with it, and it would be very easy, ostensibly, to expose. So, what he was really struck by so far, and again, this is just a very preliminary, like reading through of some of the things in this case, and primarily things that I had pointed to. After he was like looking at the first thing, the first, few items that I said, well, maybe like look at this, look at this, look at this. After he read whatever he knows he needs to read as an attorney, he was absolutely just flabbergasted at the fact that um, in the original rendition of Discovery that was put out, it did include NK's cell phone records that were prior to August 14th. So the copy that's out now picks up at August 14th. Prior to that, there were the cell phone records for the previous month. That those all of a sudden disappeared, and there are all of those letters from the jailhouse fangirls in there. And I said,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I always thought that was really weird. Like, why would that even be part of Discovery? It happened after the crime. Chris Watts has already been arrested. Why would it be in there? Is that normal? He was like, that is anything but normal. He thought that that was just like
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
crazy. Like they thought we were stupid. Like people were stupid. Like they would say that we were just going to throw that in there to like so we'll be reading them. We don't care about that stuff. We cared about the murder of a pregnant woman and her children. Like it's just like serious. Like they're trying to like throw us through all this and then redacting stuff. It's just nuts.
Right. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And, he also felt that there should have been transcripts. Okay, so in case, if anyone doesn't know this, Nicole Kessinger had 3 interviews with law enforcement. I'm sorry, 4, right? 4 interviews with law enforcement. If I say anything that's wrong, feel free to correct me, whomever's in chat. I know there's a lot of knowledgeable people about this case. There's a lot of facts. Sometimes I
I started reading the Discovery again for like the third time, and I'm
Oh,
catching
okay.
so much stuff that I can't believe, like that that I missed before. That is like
Yeah.
a brown truck, and there was just some other stuff that I don't know. Like, did they miss say,
Yep.
and,
Yeah.
or is it wrong? I'm like, but who's gonna listen to me? They are gonna be
Yeah.
like, yeah, who are you?
Well, it's, I don't think it's not who are you though. I think like the important thing is that, everyone that's like looking at this case, even if people's ideas or the outcomes that they find or
They
the
have more
conclusions that they
time. You have
come to
more
are
time. Yeah,
conflicting, I think we need to like all stick together and keep working together and talking about this because I
yep,
personally feel
absolutely.
like some people are getting, in the DA's opinion, dangerously close.
I think that's really good that we are talking about it. Like Dave and TJ,
Yeah,
great Mia. I think they're really
absolutely.
touching stuff, and it's amazing.
Yep.
If
And
if
they're
I
all
was
really
stuck,
daring to go places
and
that
then
a lot of
Dave and
other
you
people
got me
didn't dare
back
to
in,
go. And that's what needs to happen. So thank you guys for doing that.
I did appreciate it because it's really hard work. I mean, I can't imagine. I know what the work that they put into it, and they're on camera, and people are expecting it now, so they have to, really continue, even if they don't want to.
Yeah,
We're trusting them
totally.
now to speak for all of us about this and get it going. But I think it's great that we're not going away because I think they thought we'd get sick of it or something else would come up.
I
But
think
I
so
can't get this.
too.
I can't sleep. Like sometimes my husband's like, "What, Joey? Well, you're obsessed. Leave it alone." I said, "You don't get it. Something's wrong with this." And then
Right.
and then stuff I've missed because I'm not really good with the geo and stuff. But that all like, I'm telling you, I really put a stop. I said, I'm not done with this. I had to stop, and maybe it's me. I'm crazy, and
Yeah.
I couldn't. Dave, and then they made sense. If it wasn't like it was lies, I would, but it's not. It's there, and they explain it to you like, and that made so much more sense to me than I
Well,
can see it. It's not like bunch like he's throwing lies out. It's true.
yeah.
It's all
Well,
truth.
Dave just I actually got about 10 minutes into it just before I went on because like I said I was away for a little bit. I Dave just did a live call about Geotab. Let's see.
Uh
First of
huh.
all, I'll pull that up on my TV. It's just muted. Experts explain Geotab Red X live stream from 3 months ago. Oh yeah, I watched it and it was really good. Okay.
Yeah,
So
well, it's
watch
really good.
that for sure. And then hold it and chat really quick. So Dave, you said the 15th, the 17th, the 21st, and the 23rd. So there was 5 interviews. So I think I didn't include the phone interview. So there was 5 interviews. Let me get back to that really quick because Mia and Emma are having both said something I think is important. Well, Emma said, I don't think that they anticipated just how interested the public would be or how much we dig into the discovery. You're like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And if you guys moderators want to highlight any comments, feel free to go ahead and do that. Okay, so Dave says interviews, 3 in person and 2 on the phone. Thank you so much, Dave. See, I knew I was wrong and I knew I said something not just right on that. Thank you, Dave. And then I see that Mia keeps emphasizing the importance of the timeline, and timeline is so important. Yeah, really important. Okay.
But then, like, Nicole Atkinson, she said it too. Like, they got home, and I don't necessarily think she lied. Like, I don't mean, But then it's like I think about myself. I know I wouldn't be right directly. It takes me forever to just get in the car to do anything.
Right.
And that made sense to me when Mia said that. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, that does make sense. Maybe she just didn't remember, or maybe then I thought maybe Shanann just had to get home. She was mad, or something. She was upset. She just wanted to get home, and so they were fast. I don't know.
Right. Okay. So let me talk about okay, so you're talking about the 28 seconds. Okay, so let me talk about this stuff really quick. Okay, so the attorney felt that the fact that there was 2 interviews with NK that were videotaped. The fact that only one where the video was released, he thought that was extremely weird, and he also felt that for all of those interviews, obviously if they were phone interviews, there was no video to release. But if that were the case, then there should have been a transcript released. And I brought to his attention things like, which I learned from watching. I had listened to the interview and I had never heard this before. The the little clip where NK says, here, I'll see if you guys can hear it. Give me just 1 second. David just texted it to me. I don't know if you guys will hear it or not, but let's try.
I'm really trying to help you guys. I need you guys to help me too. Like, this is the team, but just don't fuck if I need help.
Did you guys hear that? Where NK says, you know, she's like, I don't know, like, I'm really trying to help you guys. I'm really trying to help you guys. Like, I thought we were a team here. Just don't fucking let me down, you know? That really, really caught his attention. And, you know, the bottom line for him was the fact that they had put, he thought, yes, now, yes. First of all, I'm saying yes to my voice in my head, by the way. Let me slow down. Discovery can be changed at any time. This is true. The changes that generally happen in Discovery, and this is all a conversation that I had with him that he verified, that happen after it's been put out, are exclusively changes that are requests or catches of somebody, you know, somebody editing the Discovery that might disclose too much personal evidence about a person that is involved in the case. So they want to take that personal information out. He said that, let me get my notes here, that, you know, it is practice that the first time you're going to put out an edition of the Discovery, that it is proofread meticulously to make sure that anything that should not be disclosed is not disclosed. Okay, so that's a quote. So therefore, from there, there's generally very, very little that's going to change in Discovery except for possible additions. So the fact that NK's phone records were taken out and they put in the Discovery the jailhouse letters, which again, he just thought was completely laughable and had no business being in Discovery. I didn't go and like check him from there to see if there's any other instances of that. I just believed him, you know, because he's an expert. Combined with the statements like, you know, Dave highlighted in his video that we're a fucking team, and the ping, that 6:16 a.m. ping that was so out of pattern for her. Right now he is, you know, and he also took an end of the summer break with his family, so he's really only done a very preliminary kind of look over of the Discovery. His focus is going to be on looking into everything NK right now because he thought that all of those facts were very alarming. Now, when I'm going to jump right to the cellular data expert really quick because these two things could tie together. Now, I know that there has been part of the disagreement about whether Shanann arrived home at 1:48 or was it later, had to do with some of the pings that happened and the transmissions that happened from the airport. So Mark, the cellular data person, said that while you are on a plane, while you are taxiing, while you are in the vicinity of an airport whatsoever, he said your pings are likely to or are liable to be all over the place. And that is because of the equipment that is used by plane. And some of you might find this to be common sense, or maybe you don't. But this is just, to me, this is a bottom line expert from somebody who knows about it. So even in the short time that I worked in site acquisition, my territory was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down to Atlantic City. I did more installments by the very small Atlantic City airport and around the Philadelphia airport by far than anywhere else in between. So that is because of the equipment that the planes use, that they rely upon, and, you know, the cellular data that people are using as they pass through on the highway, while they're on planes, while they're in the airports. Anytime they're in the vicinity, it's constantly competing, and planes are always upgrading their technology, so they are using different aspects of that, the different bandwidths of available capacity, if that makes sense. Like Like when you're texting, that uses a certain bandwidth of data. When you're making a call, that uses a certain bandwidth of data. When you're just searching the internet, that uses yet a different bandwidth of data. The technology that planes that rely upon so they can communicate with ground control, so they whatever they need to do. I know nothing about flying a plane. Is going to, take chunks of all of those pieces of bandwidth of data away from cellular phone users. So as their technology changes and they are relying upon different bandwidths, then the Verizon, let's say it's Verizon, has to go in and install new equipment to increase its capacity in certain areas so they have more bandwidth available for customers so their service is not interrupted. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The time they landed is crucial. Absolutely. I just happen to keep seeing what Mia says. I'm just backing that up. So he said, for that reason, anytime you're within the vicinity of an airport, and it depends on how big the airport is, the location of the pings is going to be pretty unreliable. So another thing, that he echoed that we all know is, just the importance of that ping in Frederick at 6:16 in the morning on August 13th. That again, to him, just like with the attorney, is the biggest piece of information that he thinks he would focus on. I'm not even going to repeat what he said because there was a lot of cursing in it, but his emphasis on that point was clear. Okay. And then he also said, and in regards to, and again, I'm going to need to talk to him a little more on this because I'm not, 100% clear on, this is not my area of expertise. So what I even understand that these people are telling me is only like a certain amount of information. So even when you're looking at the security cameras, like say in Nate's footage, he said that the various time lapses that people are taking note of is, correct to take note of it, but he feels, that data, that's telling you the different time. Like Dave said something about 28 seconds are missing. And I think I know what he's talking about, but again, I'm not as familiar with that as I would need to be to really comment on it. He said time differences under a minute, under 2 minutes are just normal fluctuations, that happen as far as cellular data goes. He said even with, iPhones, like they are supposed to be, the time on an iPhone, you would think that they are all synced up and they are all going to change from 12 midnight to 12:01 at the same time. But he said, if you were to do a little experiment yourself, you need a large enough sample of people who are all checking their phones right at the same time, you're probably going to find that there's, maybe a 30-second up to like a minute difference. And when, that tick to the next minute actually occurs. So, for whatever that's worth. Let me just really quick look at Chad, Joan. So
Okay.
Debbie says she knew he was going to Cervi. She knew about the geo tabs in the truck, so he wouldn't be able to call her. So what was she doing there in Frederick?
Exactly. They never even looked into that. They didn't even care.
Right.
I don't get it how she was like a witness. No, you're not a witness. You were the mistress. I mean, you came forward because you were going to get, you knew they were coming. You knew they were coming. And your dad speaking up and they listened. It was ridiculous. That's why she knew, like, and that makes no sense to me. And I just think that we are the public. They let them be the stuff, show us to see them. They should, we're not, no, we're a little smart. Some of the people are smarter than that. They are.
Right.
They should have people working on their payroll because they got so much to do. I respect law enforcement, but I mean, I know I tried to look at this too from her just being like, is it me? But it's just all the lies. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Joan.
And they're looking them up in 2017. That's a big deal to me. I feel like it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And now Mia said, so he doesn't believe in Vivint. Was that to me about talking about Mark, the Cellular data guy. I have bunny hair in my nose. I don't know if that was to me. I just wrote down this question to specifically ask him about Vivint. Again, it's end of summer here in New York where I am. So a lot of people are sucking up these last weeks of summer to take vacation. So these guys were both very nice enough to finally give me their time. Oh, and what I was saying in the very beginning is it's funny to me that both of these gentlemen decided to sort of like give in to me like a little more than they had before, although I've been asking them about things for like a while. Like right at the same time. So to me, that was kind of like a sign from the universe to say, you know, these guys are both have agreed to look at this right now. And it was actually surprising to me. So, you know, we need to keep going. So here was a big thing that I had learned from Mark, the cellular data expert. So who said this first? I want to get, okay. So Lily said that the security camera records 24/7. And then Carrie 56 said she heard that too. So what I was told was that all major security camera companies, all companies that offer that service, whether or not they say that the recording is initiated by movement or not, there is a recording that exists 24/7 unless it's broken. And how many times do we hear, oh, you know, we don't have the footage because it was broken? The entire way from Chris Watt's house to Frederick to Survey 319 between in Rogan or somewhere near there, Colorado, they want us to believe that the Colorado Transportation Department said that every single camera was broken. I personally don't buy that. But he said, as far as law enforcement concerns, if the camera is working, they should be able to access 24/7 recording of, you know, wherever, you know, the video cameras are pointed.
Do you think they have? I have a question. I'm
So
sorry.
whatever that's worth, guys, I don't even know what to make of it. And I asked, you know, for certainty on that a couple times, and
Do
I
you
stopped
think they have
asking.
the airport security? They just didn't release it, or you think they just didn't go look at the airport at all?
Oh, I think they just didn't release it. They had
Okay,
to have gotten that. I mean,
I
I
would
don't know.
think
What do you guys think?
that
What
would
do
have
you
been
guys
my
think?
first
Do you
thing to
think that they
do.
got the airport security video and just didn't release it, or do you think that they didn't get it? Hi, Kate. Let's see if I missed anyone else. Hi, Bree. I'm gonna have you come up really soon. She came forward because of the email. She was told that they had been. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Bree, do you want to come up now with us? Let's see. Let me read through. Okay, so enough time for NK to host herself in the truck. Let's see. They didn't want the narrative shut down. Yep. What you see on Nate's TV is motion activated recordings only. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, Crazy Daisies. And hi there. What you're seeing is the motion activated recordings only, but according to Marco, who said everyone, and I need to look further into this. And if somebody else, I'll just put this out there. I was going to do it myself before I mentioned it, but maybe if somebody else wants to do this too, maybe somebody will be faster at it than me. There's some kind of a there's some kind of a restriction or a requirement, I guess it would be, for any company that's going to go out there and promote themselves as being a security camera company. So if you're going to say that the service that you're offering, the product you're putting out there is security camera footage, then the motion detection dynamic is going to be what the customers have access to. That's going to be what feeds into the customer's home. So here I am sitting in my living room. According to what he said, it is a mandate that the company that's providing my security camera footage, it's recording out there outside my house right now. But the only time I'm going to see it is if it's motion activated. Somebody's outside my front door, and now I'm going to start seeing it. And now what in my mind kind of validates this point is I know for myself on my own security camera system, I can adjust the sensitivity considerably. So I can, make it more sensitive, but then it's going to pick up cars driving by the house. I can make it less sensitive, and then it's really not going to pick up somebody till they're like right there at the door. And I don't necessarily want that. So the fact that I'm able to adjust my sensitivity is to when I get the notifications and then my system responds immediately. Like when I started thinking about that, to me, that sort of like was towards what Mark was saying. So let's see. Wonder if NK was driving the gray truck on Sunday because she was selling her truck in a few days. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys all know this, that NK's, I think it was her dad, owned a gray truck that had what was it called? It was like a cab cover on the back. And it was within 24 hours of the family going missing that there were 3 different reports, people reporting a suspicious gray or white truck being in the area of the Watts house. And none of them, not a single one of those reports, was followed up on by law enforcement. Red X Crime Files, if you guys want to drop the link, does a really great video that goes over that. This is actually when I started really paying attention to Red X. Was there's a video about something about the witnesses being ignored. So it's a
It was
really
really good. It was excellent. Yeah, she does really good work with that. Oh,
really good one.
and
Really
she's
good.
so the way she explained it is so good because I need like she explained it and shows you, and it's really a great video.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a really great video. So, yep, it totally is. So, those were the basic things that it's nothing too groundbreaking that I had to report from these experts in different fields. I just thought it would be useful for people that are, following this and are interested in looking into more things, to hear, what these people had to say about, I guess the summary is, the attorney felt that, that timeline is to when, and I don't have any, this is not a reflection of my personal thought on it. I wanted to find out that the timeline was falsified because I think that would allow us to make a much better case. But he just felt that that would be an unprecedented tampering with evidence to tamper with that very critical timeline. And because I do think it's critical, he did as well. Regarding that timeline, Mark had to say about the cellular data when they were in the air, when they were taxiing, and when they were right around the airport. That they're going to be like probably pinging all around, or they might not be pinging to the nearest tower. He said you can probably assume that's the case because things are kind of so frenetic as far as the cellular signal around the airport. And I think that we all can think of examples of that. Last time you went to the airport, was your signal consistent? Did you drop calls? I know for myself the answer is yes. So to me, that made sense. Both of these people who are experts in totally different things really picked up on the discrepancies with Nicole Kessinger. That's what they felt like. That's where they really felt there was like kind of like, something to latch onto and look deeper into in this case, both centering around the 616 pings on August 13th, 2018. And the fact that I thought it was a pretty big deal, the fact that Mark said you can bet your bippies that there exists 24-hour camera footage. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got going on, chat. Okay. So I'm starting back at 9:01. I wonder if NK was driving the gray truck on Sunday because she was selling her truck in a few days. Yes. Hi, Christine, 63. I haven't seen you yet. Hi there. Bob Murray says 18 seconds gives NK plenty of time to get in the truck. Mark, yeah, that's true. If that time lapse does exist, it sure does. Yeah. And maybe we should look at that camera footage together again because
That would be a good idea.
yeah. Oh, geez. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Thank you, Cage. I'm sorry I didn't see your question there. Let's see. I'm not very good at this live thing. I'm trying.
You're
Let's see.
doing really good.
I don't even know how to do this, guys. Thank you so much. How do I like highlight a comment or something so everyone can see that? Because I would like to do that. Mods.
Maybe you could just take it down, hit the name, and then keep your finger on it.
Let's see. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Did I do that or did someone else? Okay. Kate says, sorry, I joined live late. I have a question. Apologies if I already discussed it here. Was Nate the only resident in the neighborhood with cameras? Okay, great question. And thank you so much, KH. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. So from what I understand, there were other people in the neighborhood that had cameras. In fact, I'm gonna have to pull up the discovery here. Let's see.
Yeah, I got the discovery up too. So like,
yeah, going all the way back to the first live that I did, guys, when I wasn't able to get on. I actually have a
discovery up too. So like, going all the way back.
Oh, hold it. Nope, we don't want that. There we go. My normal computer won't let me on StreamYard. I don't know why. So when I want to go on, I'm using my son's. Although I have there's just something. I have a MacBook that's going to be here like in the next couple of days. Let's just keep it at that. So KH, that's a very good question. I'm going to pull up Discovery here because my understanding of that is that they did go and canvass the neighborhood, and we just got to get the file up now.
Yeah, I don't think
and they found that some people did have cameras.
Like the one right across the street?
Yes. And they said they either just didn't catch anything, Cage, or that they weren't working. We were just discussing how the prevalence of security cameras that apparently weren't working in this case. You know, all the ones that made no difference to anything, to the outcome whatsoever, they were working. But ones that possibly could have made a difference, they were not working, right? So.
But they said this, yeah, they didn't go back and follow up with things either.
Yep, that's right. That's right. They did not go back at all. So let's see. I want to get up that. I want to get the. I want to look at the security camera footage during the time that we're talking about, because I think that you know, there's just some really important stuff, and I think that is best found. And tell me if you guys agree. When we're looking at Nate's television, you know, when you can kind of see the reflection of Officer Coonrod in there a little bit, being that I think many people are not trusting what the DA's office put out, right? So, Mia, yes. Does anybody happen to have a link that you think is the clearest link to that security camera footage that's looking at, you know, when the person left the Watts house and then the truck backed in? Does anyone have a link to that? I have it on my computer over here. It would take me a minute to get it up in here and email it to myself and all that jazz. Let's see, Mia. Don't know the case. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cage. So happy you made it. Let's see who else is here. Hi, Nellie. How you doing? And right, that's another good question. And I always end up talking about this in a lot. Why did she have there were just so many weird things. And this is also something that I talked to Alex, who's the attorney, who's he's gonna be back over this Labor Day weekend coming up. He's away at the shore with his family, but he's gonna keep looking at this. But you know, I discuss all these weird things that, you know, all of us have picked up on. Like, why in the world did the investigators pick us up? And he just like, it's just also out of the ordinary. When you put it together, it's, you know, like something weird here and there, a coincidence here and there, something that doesn't make sense here and there, something that's outside of protocol here and there. But when you have 20, 30, 40, 50 examples of that, like, you know, okay, there's something there. Nate's video. Okay. So KH says, or I'm sorry, Dave says to KH, no ma'am, Nate's video was the only one they let us see. Right, that's the functioning phrase there, that they let us see, in Discovery. They had a list of those who had cameras. Yep, that's in Discovery. But even then, who do we believe? Yeah, I mean, that is it. Dun, dun, that's the point. So Oklahoma Girls Kitchen says, I would like to know if they had ever tried to pull camera footage from both the Lazy Dog restaurants. They said that the manager said that the camera was not working that night. Or they right? I just
It's
thank you.
unbelievable.
You point out another example.
It's irresponsible.
Yeah, yeah. And Oklahoma Girls Kitchen believes that others join them. I absolutely positively think so. And this is something that maybe Seeking the Truth with Dave can speak to. I have never understood why NK's friend Danielle Hadel was there over this weekend. The weekend before, this entire family went missing. The family of her boyfriend, with whom she's having an affair with, and we don't have any. Not only do we not have a transcript or a recording of her interview, we don't even have a summary of the interview in Discovery. Seems to me like that would be a pretty, and we know that Chris Watson and Kay went out to dinner at the Lost Dog that night. What, she's just going to leave her friend? And
Especially when Ronnie says, too, he said he wished he went to the Rockies game. So that's not, we all want to know, well, why did he say that? I would have been
right,
like, well, why? If I was like, I would have said that. Well, why? That would have been in my head.
right,
Why'd you say that?
right, exactly. So, hey
And he
Bree, do you
told
want?
them that, the detectives that and all. I just think, why did they go? They went back up to Wisconsin. They went there for a reason. They just didn't ask the right things.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that, and I thought that it was also interesting when they went to Wisconsin. I have a video I'm almost done with. I'm gonna put out next couple days. It's like what I call it, like the NK reference guide. Just kind of a lot of the things that hit on, or
No, that's
refer to
good. Yeah.
NK. It's a long one. And in regards to their interview in Wisconsin, I thought it was interesting that they didn't ask a lot of directed questions of Chris Watts about NK. And sometimes when he was giving an answer that talked about her, Tammy Lee in particular cut him off a lot.
Yes.
But when they give the report, she is mentioned an inordinate number of times as compared to the number of questions that they asked about her or for the length of time he spoke of her. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think too, like, I just don't understand. And then that, like, the whole, it says in the discovery that she was refusing to give Jim's information. I would have
Right.
like highlighted that. Like, that is like,
Yeah.
why?
Yep.
Because you want to protect him. Like, you could be arrested for murder. Why are you worrying about him protecting anybody else? It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Why
Yeah.
protect him? Just tell him the truth. He's going to know it. You came forward because you knew you were going to get found out. You know they're looking to look at him now.
Yep, 100%. You're right on. Listen, Dave's gonna come up. Thank you, Dave. So we can
Okay, I'll just jump back. Yeah.
so I can, and Bree, do you want to come up too? Because what I want to do is I want to go look at that security camera footage. Did anyone send a link to that? Or I don't have the link, but I'd be happy to send you the files where I get to my. Oh, okay. Thank you. I can, if Dave comes up, as long as I have someone up here talking, then I can grab the link from my other computer, easy breezy. So hey guys, I'm gonna put up the link to come onto panel. Bree, if you want to come on. Dave is gonna come on, and I am gonna go get us that link, okay? And then my MacBook should be here. It's supposed to be delivered on Thursday, so then I'll have everything on there. All right, all right, copy. And stay up, Joan. Go ahead, stay up, Joan. You can. Oh, I didn't mean for you to get off, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I can have a few people up here. If you want to come up back up, Joan, you're welcome to. I totally didn't mean to kick you off. I'm sorry. I wasn't clear on that. Danielle hosted herself in the closet. Yeah, right. Okay. All right, here you go. There's the link. Bree, if you want to come up, come on up. Dave can come on up. Does anyone else want to come on up? Let's see. Oh, device is not connected. Oh, Dave, you're oh wait, hold it. Let's see. All right. Dave, so oh, here he comes. Hello, my friend.
G'day, how are you? How's everyone?
I'm good. How's it going?
Not bad, thank you.
Dave,
I can hear
save
an
the day
echo.
again.
There's an echo. Somebody's running YouTube in the background.
Oh, okay. It's not
No,
that one's not me.
it's gone
Someone's
now.
running YouTube in the background. If you can turn it off,
No,
please.
no, no. It's gone now. It's all good. We're all good. We're on the normal time now.
Excellent.
Okay. I just wanted to quickly come up and just say that you're doing a good job.
Thank you, Dave.
You're doing a good job.
We're inviting Bree Grant up right now too.
Okay. All
Hi,
right.
Bree.
Hello.
Hi. How are you, Bree?
I'm good.
Welcome, my darling.
Okay. I can't see you anywhere, Bree. What
Hold
are you
on,
doing
it's
with
dark out here.
Oh, okay. There you are. Oh, well,
There
it's
she is. There's
it's
beautiful
11:15
Bree.
in the morning here.
As you guys are chatting, I'm gonna be sending these files over to myself. Go ahead with
Okay.
what you were saying, Dave, my darling.
All right. Okay. So, what I want to know is, oh, Joan, don't be silly. I was so nervous you didn't want to talk over Dave. Joan, that's being silly. Don't worry about it. I'm all good. I'm not somebody who's going to bite anyone. So, um, the question I've got, and a number of us have got, is all that footage that isn't available in this case. There's got to be something more to the case, and they must be hiding something. So, for your friend, your attorney friend, or your data analyst friend to say that there's for them to manipulate and do shit with timelines, it's a big risk. Well, the question I've actually got about that and then manipulating the timelines is it never went to trial. They had no intentions of it going to trial. None whatsoever. On the 26th of August, Chris's attorney went to the DA to make a deal. The 26th of August was the first time they prepared the deal. So there was no intentions ever of going to trial. So they could do whatever they wanted with
Yep.
manipulating whatever they wanted to, because that that doorbell footage of Shanann was not released for 6 months. For
Right.
6 months. They waited over the 60 days required to get all of Nate's footage, and they couldn't get it because it was already been deleted from Comcast system.
You know what, Dave? You bring up a really amazing point, and this is something I forgot to tell you that was one of the most important points. I was actually just looking at my notes here on my other computer too. Aside from just being, kind of laughing at what they did put in Discovery and being very surprised at and I'm right. I just wrote down everything you said, so I'm going to go back and ask that. I really hope that he will come here, at least just like his voice, so you can ask these questions directly. Or maybe, Dave, I could have you talk to him offline and ask different questions of what I would. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah,
might be that.
that would be amazing.
Yeah, because
If I could be given
I
that
only have the
opportunity.
perspective that's in my head to question. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, so I think he'd be willing to do that. I don't know if I'm going to get him to come on, but I think he would talk to you because I had mentioned you and TJ. But
Well, you've got my number. So
yes. So
okay.
he also said that as surprised as he was about a lot of things, because it is up to the district attorney when they will accept a plea, or in this case possibly when they kind of prompted a plea. And he could not believe that with a case of this gravity, they allowed a plea so early, knowing that things like the Vivint data was not going to be in for 6 months. The reason that trials take so long is to allow for all of those things that are evidence to come in, right? And okay, so this all made a whole lot of sense for me, because how we know that Tammy Lee said, "Oh, we had so much more to look at, but the investigation stopped as soon as he pled." And then even when Dr. B and her gang went to Frederick and they were talking to Amanda Purcell, who is the gatekeeper of all of the evidence, and Amanda told them that, well, once he pled, we may have collected this evidence, but it was then not tested because the state funding stopped, and therefore, we couldn't test the fingerprints or the DNA or whatever. So when I told Alex all of that, what he had to say to that was bullshit. It's not just like Chris Watts did something on his own volition and therefore the evidence stopped, and all of the investigators and the people saying these things like Amanda Purcell and Tammy were like, "Oh my gosh, he just pled, now we can't stop, like we're victims of that." No, they all, under the umbrella of the district attorney, allowed that timing. This was probably the biggest point that I took away from him. I'm so glad you said this. And this is all of it. I just read my notes again. That the timing where they are acting like, because something else happened outside of ourselves, the natural response was, "Oh my gosh, now we're powerless to continue the investigation." So that's like, no, bullshit. They accepted the plea at that time. They possibly encouraged or coerced the plea at that time. They caused that event that created the domino effect of therefore stopping the state funding and the ability to investigate or analyze. They caused that. Yes, it's true that the funding stopped at that point. So oftentimes you would stop analyzing things. But he said, generally speaking, like always, that's because all of the evidence has been completely analyzed and looked at. You don't just accept a plea deal that is going to stop the investigation when you have all of this critical evidence that has not been analyzed. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And just quickly, yeah, it does. Lily, I was just actually saying that they didn't get Nate's footage for 6 months. They didn't get the doorbell footage for 6 months,
Right.
and they didn't get Nate's Comcast footage or Xfinity, whatever it's called. They didn't get that until late October, and by the time they got that, they got zero videos.
Right. Right.
Zero. Which is absolute disgraceful. And they knew if they waited the 60 days, that's exactly what would happen.
Yep.
So that meant they couldn't get any data from previous to that day, the weeks leading up to that day, who was coming and going from the house. All of that information they knew they wouldn't be getting, which would have implicated others
Exactly.
in the
Yes.
case. So there is corruption in this case at the
Yeah.
highest level. I'm terribly sorry, but there actually is. And
I agree with that.
it is, and they are going to manipulate whatever they want. They can manipulate timelines. Um, do they have the footage from the airport? Well, the last known footage of her alive, okay, apart from Nicole Atkinson stating she dropped her friend off, the last known footage of her alive for the public was her at the airport. Why were they not showing video of her at the airport during the missing stages.
Yeah.
That's the bit I don't understand, because that is
Mhm.
the last time she would have been seen alive by the public. And
Mhm.
that is definitely the footage that should have been shown. Now, does that footage implicate others? That has to be the question that has to be asked.
Well said,
Who
Dave.
else
Thank you.
was who else was at the airport?
Yep.
I
What do
never
you
thought of
think,
that.
Bree?
I
What
never
do you
once
think,
thought
Bree?
about that being like very important. I mean, we have where, Chris was at the airport when he saw the girls, but why not? We've never seen Shanann
Right.
from
Right.
the airport. So why
Mhm.
do we see Chris and the girls? Is that because it was on her Facebook? Is that the only reason why we have that?
Well,
Or
she took that video,
yeah.
but
So that's just, I never once thought about that. But the deal, my issue with the plea deal is there were four people because Nico was a person, and
Correct.
they literally did not have to give him a plea deal. Why would they do that? Like,
and so
there's no
quickly.
purpose in doing that, especially with these circumstances around
Mhm.
him having a mistress. It just, that just goes to show right there how much, and it's deep. It's really deep. The corruption, very deep.
It's ridiculous. It's so I would like to talk to your attorney friend at some stage.
Yep, I'm sure
Um
you can do that. I'm sure he'll do that.
yeah, myself and TJ would love
Yeah,
to privately at some stage.
absolutely.
Would love to, because I believe we've got some questions that would possibly rattle his cages,
I
to make him really go wow. Because
Yeah, I think that would yeah, I think that would be awesome. Just like I have said that I think that, everyone, whether, say eventually, that like a miracle happens and everyone's hard work pays off and we finally get all of the answers that we're looking for to have justice fully served in this case. And then we look back and we say, oh, well, this person's conclusion about this was right, but that was whatever. It does. I think the key here is that so many people are doing really good work looking into it. And I think that is all critical. And I think all these different perspectives and conclusions and thoughts are critical. And just like that, I think that having different people ask him questions from their mind and their perspective, given what is important too. That would be great.
yeah, absolutely. And to answer Christmas Girl 304, the narrative that was put out was they will take the death penalty off the table if Chris accepts the plea deal that Chris's lawyers came to the table with. So, no, Chris had already accepted the plea deal. It was up to the DA to accept it, because
That's
it was
right.
Chris's attorneys that actually went to them with the deal. Okay? And the death penalty, he would never, he could have gone to trial and he wouldn't have gone close to getting the death penalty. The DA threatening him in his cell with that was just absolute showboating,
Yeah.
because the DA had nothing. He wouldn't have even got first degree murder charges past the first stage of the evidentiary hearing, because there's no physical evidence and no real evidence in any way that ties Chris to the crime.
Hmm.
There's none,
But if he
apart
went to
from his
trial, that's
confession.
where it would bring the other people in on it. So that's why they
Correct.
scared him.
Yep.
So I'll just tell you now, there's absolutely no way in hell that Chris would ever have got the maximum sentence at all if he had. He would have been still waiting to go to trial because of COVID,
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if
in my
if this had
opinion.
even gone to trial at all yet, it would have just happened. That just to reiterate what you said, Dave. When what my friend said that looked at this case, who's been a criminal defense attorney for well over a decade. I have to do the math really quick, but
So long as he's done his
the fact that he
10,000 hours.
accepted, the DA accepted the plea so quickly when the Vivint data wasn't in, when a lot of the video footage wasn't in, when they still had evidence that they had collected that had not been lab analyzed. His big point was the DA did not need to accept the deal. He could have kept him, on hold for a long time. Okay, we know he wants to make a plea. If he wants to make a plea now, he's going to want to make a plea in X amount of time if it really came from him, because that's how it goes. Case after case, that's how it goes, according to this person who's an expert. The fact that they accepted that plea raises huge questions. Say it like that.
Yeah, and Christmas Girl again. Do you believe if Chris Watts gets the 35C, he will name others? Well, it's not necessarily about him naming people. The whole case gets opened up again. That's what happens, and then the whole thing starts all over again, and they have to investigate everybody as suspects.
Do they still have all the evidence, like the trash bags, the gloves? Do they
They
still
have that. If they still have that evidence, yes.
Okay.
The DAs are the keepers of that right now, unfortunately. The DA's office is in charge of preserving that.
Right, and there is some evidence that's probably gone. But
Yeah.
the most important piece of evidence that's never been returned to Ronnie or Cindy is Chris's phone. Now, the reason they're holding on to that is because there is crucial evidence on that phone.
And there are some people that believe, and I might be one of them. This is yet another thing that needs to be further researched, and this is something I also need to write down to ask Alex. The fact that they have not returned Chris Watts' phone to who would be the owner now, who is the parents, might indicate that there is some kind of an investigation that has been and still is happening.
I think that too.
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss with this at the moment, that what was actually done. That live stream that I did last night, which was a redoing of TJ's wonderful work from a few months ago.
Yeah.
It pretty much, she had an expert from Geotab speak with her on the phone, and that's who's recording that you actually hear get played on that, and you actually hear it plain as day, the way it's described. And when you put it all together, no one was in the truck apart from the driver. Absolutely nobody. Chris was see, this is evidence. This is evidence that would have been a decent defense attorney would have just been able to basically have thrown out of court.
Absolutely.
Because nobody went out there to survey in his truck. Nobody. And he was on his work phone all morning, which is linked to the truck. They would have known he was on the phone, and it would have sent off alerts. He wasn't allowed to be on his work phone whilst he was in the truck. And there were no alerts for his phone, which makes me wonder, Chris wasn't actually in his truck. Somebody else was in his truck, and Chris was with somebody else getting a lift out there. And when he states he was at service 629 in his text message at 6:31 a.m. to, I believe it was Cody, I believe that's where he was. I don't believe. And then he went to 11:29, and then he went to 3:19. And he got there just before 8 o'clock. But the one and only image that appears from his personal phone is the one of the laptop computer taken from the back seat of the work truck, the photograph that places him at service 319, and NK says, I want a picture of you there. She actually says she wanted a picture of him to show he was there at service 319. Now, that's to place him in the crime scene. So that's the way I look at it, and it doesn't make, nothing else makes any sense at all. Chris didn't have the time to dig any holes that day. He certainly didn't climb up any stairs.
Right.
My issue is with that kind of job and that kind of work environment. And I mean, judging by the lawsuits that they had against him to begin with, it doesn't look like they were very concerned about their employees. But would it have been necessarily legal for Chris to have been out there on that site by himself? Like, would he not have needed someone else with him? I mean, you have to think he's out in the middle of a ranch. Would he not, like with OSHA or something, to have someone there with him? Like, did they not? I always wondered about that. Like, why was he allowed to go there by himself? Because he told, oh, I'm going out there, I'm going to fix it, Monday. Why was he allowed to go out there?
He's an
Anything could have
operator,
happened.
and he fixes stuff. That's what he does.
Yeah, and
That was his
anything could have
role.
happened while he did that. You would need, I mean, he could have had a heart attack. I mean, anything could have happened. Like, with that kind of job, why would someone be allowed to just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go fix that? That's not like you're going to fix a tire on the side of the road. Like, you're going to literally batteries out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, he's allowed to be out there on his own because Victor, the guy who oversees the place on the weekends, he was also out there on his own all weekend.
I don't know.
To me, Bree, something that I think your question hits on, sweetie, is that there's a lot of questions about things that happened under the watch of this oil company that may have had liability connected to it, right?
Yeah, they were supposed to have cameras installed on all the
Right.
ranches, and they didn't.
So maybe your question touches upon why, this all needs to go away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that he was allowed to be there and, all of that. But, I think as, things that were investigated here, they were going to find a whole lot of things that Anadarko did wrong to not protect their employees or the public. And, my question then is this the root of the corruption?
And they were at stake to lose a lot of money.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So, yeah.
I've got to head back to work, so I just want to just say, lovely to have met you, Bree.
Nice to meet you too. I'm a big fan of you.
Oh,
Awesome.
Thank you for all your work that you do. I hope it really does. Something comes out of this. Just something. The truth. That's all.
Yeah.
Trying hard.
Well,
And so, Dave, I just got the security camera footage downloaded here, so I'm going to be showing that in a minute.
Okay, now the
Thanks
stuff from Weld County. It's got overlays and loops and all sorts of crap in it.
Right.
Okay, so, but it's also the one that shows NK walking out of the garage to the car.
Right.
The car is already unlocked. There's someone already in it.
With
the lights are on. There's somebody already in the truck. And then this person appears who got the timing wrong because she was busted. And that is the NK walking to the truck. So that's the second person walking to the truck. That truck starts at 5:18 and 2 seconds. Just letting you know. Right? According to the geotab, which is not wrong. So
now something that I found out from this was like way back, something that I found out about the fleet and how it was equipped through, and I can't even remember the name of the company right now, but apparently I had looked into this with two different people from the company what is the company that installed that equipment, that they did not have. Oh, I might be able to find the phone. I'll talk with, I need to talk with you and TJ about this offline, but they did not have remote car starter at that time that would have turned on the lights.
He did not have a remote because the battery was faulty.
Yeah,
the little mechanism.
That's what I found out too, independently of you. Yeah,
up to the vehicle and lock it with a key.
Yeah, exactly. So how do the lights turn on? And we're gonna see this all in a minute, y'all.
All right. So
Thanks for
another,
coming on, Dave.
another vehicle's seen getting unlocked as Chris goes up into the garage, like reverses back. Another vehicle is actually seen,
Right.
right, with the lights, with a vehicle being unlocked and locked, right, and it's not Chris's truck. It's mind blowing. But at 5:18 and 30 seconds is when Nate's camera starts recording, as in that morning. So there's 28 seconds missing. You'll actually see it, right? It's actually missing because when the footage that we get from Weld County isn't the motion activated footage. The motion
Yeah.
activated footage starts at 5:18 and 30 seconds. Okay? The footage from
Can you
Weld
stay for a
County.
second to watch the beginning of this or no?
Oh, yeah, I can stay for a second. Yes. Okay.
Now this was just, I think, this was just the first file of it that I could pull up. It's actually from, this was the first file that I downloaded a long time ago. It's from another creator a long time ago. I'm sorry, I can't give credit now to who that was. I will do it after the fact because they did what they did. It was not me. They're pointing to like the red car and some other things, and it was not AD. But okay, just one sec here. All right. So do this. Let's see. Okay, I think I got this here. All right, I'm going to share. Oops. I just pressed invite.
Make sure you. Oh, it doesn't really matter. You don't need it, but yeah.
Share
Normally
screen.
people forget to share audio, but you don't need it for this.
Huh?
Doesn't matter. Just forget what I just said. Doesn't matter.
Oh. All right, so I'm going to start this right at the beginning, guys, okay?
Oh, we get to see the red car that isn't there apparently. Cool.
That's right.
There she goes.
Yep.
Okay, keep watching. Now, I have something I want to point out to you guys. So you see how the lights were already on, turned off.
There goes the red car.
Now, wait, I'm going to pause this, Dave, because I want you to look at this before you go, okay, guys? We'll keep watching more of it, but okay. So look, now when, let's see. Now watch when, okay, see, watch here, okay? When the lights go on and off in a minute, can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Okay, watch right here, okay? And you're going to see there's some kind of reflection from something or
Yes.
something. I just want you to see that. And then I'm going to go back further because we see this earlier on. So just look right here for right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that? Right?
Isn't it someone?
Okay. Now, okay, now let's go back a little bit. And we're going to watch that same area. It's going to get a little closer in a minute. Okay, like right here.
Yep.
I see right there before that person walks out.
I can't see it. I'm on my phone. It's very difficult. What am I supposed to be?
So do you guys see that? I want to know what this is. Why is this? I'm going to put the cursor where here, like right here, you see like some movement. What is that? You see that? So Dave probably couldn't because he's on his phone. Did you see that, Bree?
Yeah, I'm on my phone, but I'm gonna go look on my TV after we.
Okay, all right. I'm wondering. All right, well, let's just watch this.
Cat saw it.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what that was.
I think
Do you
it was
guys want to
somebody.
see that again?
imaginary red car that apparently doesn't exist.
Yep, we saw the red car clear as day. So we're yeah. I can see the red. I mean,
Not long after he reverses back now, you're actually going to see a vehicle get locked, and it's not his work truck. Zoomed in.
there's another thing I want to show you guys too. Yep.
Let's remember, everyone, his remote clicker does not work on his truck.
Yep. Okay, so look at this, guys. Wait, so watch. So before coming back out this time, the light, wait,
Yep.
yeah. So now before he comes out again, the lights turn on and then he comes out. Let's see. Lights on and now he comes out.
Yep. And he hasn't got his remote, doesn't work.
Exactly. But then later, he gets all the way to the door and opens the door before the cab lights come on. To me, this I have always thought someone else is here right now. There's no other way. There's no other way.
I think
Correct.
she was driving it.
Yep.
She was driving the truck.
So let's see. He's gonna walk back or someone's walking back in a minute. Let's see what happens then. He's walking back. The cab lights are still on. Cab lights turn off, and that could be natural. The next time he walks out to the car, the cab lights don't turn on until he's at the cab, which is different from what we just saw happen. So
My husband has that same exact truck. I'm gonna go get the keys.
does he?
He does. I'm about to try to show it to you. Hold on. I want to go get and see like how.
Huh, that's interesting. Now, I know nothing else happens until about 2 minutes from now. Do you want me to move it till that point or?
Yes, please, because I've got to get to work. If you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, Dave. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take it to the 5-minute mark because I'm pretty sure that's where we have something happen again. Okay, here we go. All right, now you see a little shadow you see something under the car, shadow. So like something's happening somewhere nearby. Or at least that's what I see.
I always thought that was Bella.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Now he gets to the cab and now the lights turn on. Or some, you see that?
Yep. Somebody was in the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys need me to go through both of those events again? See what we're saying in chat.
You had to go to the door to physically unlock it.
Yes. Yes. Joan, you did an awesome job, by the way. I just saw your comment. You're amazing. Let's see. Well, let's see. I check the call for the weekend. NK claims she didn't know Shanann. Yeah, that's a good one, Debbie.
I believe Chris Watts' family, living
You believe what?
I believe. Why would he be so stupid to protect someone that murdered his own flesh and blood? Because I believe the threats are out there that look what we did to your family. What is the thing to do to the rest of them?
Yeah, that's right. Now,
That is wording of a threat which has been made to Chris.
I feel that is, as you know, I haven't been ready to commit wholeheartedly anything, but I think that is a very, very distinct possibility. Now, some people in chat want to see that whole series of events again. So, whoops, I'm going to start it again. So here we go. I'm going to, okay, bye, Dave. Thank you so much.
I'll watch. Lovely to meet you, Bree. Please stay up there with with Kelly. Thanks very much, Kelly, and I
That'll
look
be
forward
great.
to
Thank you so much, Dave. You're the
PJ
best.
and I being able to chat with your friend. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll make that happen.
All right. Thank you. Cheers.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye, honey.
Bye. Bye.
All right, guys. So I want you to just watch. I'm going to, if you're on a TV especially, so right here where I'm highlighting with a cursor, see how there's a light right there or something, okay? I'm going to go back again. And maybe it's the red car coming from afar. I'm not sure. But here, right where I am with the cursor again, oops, I got to press play. Play. Okay, so right here, you just see some kind of illumination or movement right there, just before the person right there is walking out of the garage. If you're on a TV, you see it. Okay. Oh, and then there comes the red car. Yeah, so I think it's from the red car or the other car. Why does this stop again? Okay.
Maybe it was the lights. I think it was the
Yeah,
lights.
I think it's from the right lights of that car. So, all right. So here we go. We got whomever backing up. Now, what you guys need to pay attention to is, and I'll tell you when it is, how when the person coming out of the garage, as they're approaching the truck, the cab lights turn on. And then the next time, okay, so here, someone's going to leave. Okay, someone's walking away. Cab lights turn off. All right. Now keep watching. Cab lights turn on. Now that person is coming back. Did you see that? I'm going to do it one more time. The cab lights turned on before they got to the door, clearly. Cab lights are off. They turn on, and now we see someone walking in.
The only way they would have turned back on is if somebody was in the truck and opened the door
Exactly.
again.
So
That's
just
it.
to prove those who might not believe it, let's Bree, let's go to the next one where we see that happen. That's very interesting that your husband has the same truck.
Yeah,
Find
he
out
does.
find out what year it is when you get a chance.
I will. It's sitting right over there. It's just silver, but it's the same exact. I mean, it's same rims, everything.
That's crazy. Okay. So here again, in a few minutes, we're gonna see someone, or not a few seconds, we're gonna see someone walk out, and then we're gonna see that the cab lights don't turn on until they're obviously, at the cab. Walking out. Oh, they're there. They're at the door. They're opening the door, and now now we see the lights turn on.
Yeah.
So that person this time clearly had to get all the way to the door. Now, here, guys, this is the one thing I question. I'd like to know what you guys think. The next time this person walks out, now they've left the door open. Okay, here it is. All right, guys. Okay, so let me frame this for you. Okay, so they walked out that second time. That just if for your own information, it's at like the 5:20 mark or something like that. This time when they leave and walk back towards the garage, the cab light stays on, which to me is saying that the door remained open. Now I'm going to go back just a few seconds because I feel like when this person comes back to the truck this time, in my mind's eye, this has always been the case. I see them walking backwards and I see them kind of like, it's almost like they're dragging something. Like they take a big step and then they kind of go down. And this is just what I see. It does not fit the narrative that some people are thinking that no one was murdered at the house, but this is just what I see. So please take a look. Okay. So ready? The person's going to come out right now. Please tell me what you think if you can see. Right here. Watch. You guys see that? I'm going to play it again, then I'm going to look at chat. So it looks to me, so say if you're like, dragging something that's heavy, you kind of be like, doodle, doodle, like that's what I've always seen, no matter how many times I look at it.
Was he doing that for show? I wonder.
Hey, I never thought of that. That's a possibility. So here we go. One more time here. Watch. Right now. Watch. You guys see that?
I see him, and you can see the shadow underneath the
Yeah.
truck at first.
So, yeah. Let's see what they say in chat. So Joan says, when CW, let's see. What did she say here? When CW had his hands on his head at Nate, he saw the person there. He knew right where. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Me too, dragging. Aussie girl Jen, that's what you see too. I mean, that is just like what I see.
I mean,
I know. Sugar Bee. Sugar Bee says, I love it. We are saying somebody, someone, not CW anymore. I don't know what to say, I just I don't. Seeking to, yeah. Yeah. He's good. He's totally good.
I mean, you would think with dead weight, because if she was dead at that point in time, if he put her in that truck, there would be some kind of movement. Would there not be? I mean, maybe because it's a big truck. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
have to
mean the
get my
truck would
husband to put me in the
would
truck. Like,
move? The truck
yeah,
would
I'm just gonna go
bounce.
limp and kind of let him throw me back there because I weigh about the same she weighed, and just kind of let him just kind of go limp and see if the truck will move. Because I always thought like if you're kind of have a movement and it didn't move. That's one
Yeah.
reason why I didn't think she was in there because there was no like
That's a really good point. That's a really
movement.
good point.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a big truck, so maybe I don't know, but
Well, you should then do an experiment. So let's see. Desired and let's see, a couple other people said that they saw that. I think Debbie McLean said she thinks she saw that kind of like what I saw. Yeah, Joan, like squatting low to the ground, and yeah, exactly. This is what I always see. Let's watch it again. So Bree makes a really good point. I had never thought of this. Thank you, dear. So she says, okay, so let's just say for argument's sake that it was CW and he was putting poor Shanann into the truck. That, well, wouldn't we see the truck like make some movement? Yeah, that's like an awesome point. Never thought of it. Let's take a look at that whole jammy jam again. Let's see. All right. So, all right, there goes that person. See, and when I play it in reverse, I feel like I then see the person. Yeah, I don't know, guys. All
maybe
right.
he knew the camera was there. I
That's
don't know.
true. Bree makes yet another good point. He could have been doing it for show for the camera. Let's play it again. Let's see. So, you'll see the shadow like right here first, and then of course right here. We're gonna see if it looks like he's walking backwards and possibly dragging something heavy, or that kind of dun dun. Like that's how I feel like I'd look if I was dragging something.
Yeah.
Okay, so watching. Oops. It's gonna be soon. Right here. Here he comes. See that? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just what I see. Let's watch the truck. Let's watch the truck, see if you see any movement in the truck.
See, wouldn't we? Because you see where the crack is, where we can see the shadows of them, like of him, like where it looked like he was pulling. He's at
Right.
that door. Would we not have seen any part of her, like just a wrapped up in a sheet in that little spot, that little? Because you can see the concrete underneath the truck,
Yeah.
and there's never anything other than his feet, and that's at the back of the truck.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's watch it again. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. The freaking numbers that tell the time for the timestamp here is so small. I have to like get really close to my computer to see them.
Oh, I'm blind. I
Okay,
feel
wait,
you.
all right. All right. I think is this it? I don't know. I'm a little lost where I am now. Let's see. Okay, it's 4:54. Okay, so I think we're gonna see him go to the truck twice. Let's just watch it again, just for completeness. Him or whoever took a beat. Whoever.
I think it's him at that point.
I do too. I do too. Okay, so the person's gonna come out. Here they come. All right. So you see, when they were walking just now, it was much smoother. Let's look at that just again. Much smoother than the next time. Watch. Smooth when they come out. See, it's not like they're like going dun 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 dun. They get there, the light turns on.
I feel like we would have seen her wrapped up because you have to think she wasn't an itty bitty girl, a woman, but we would have see how his shadow is under there. We would have because that's at
Yeah,
the back of the truck. The door is
yeah.
literally. I'm gonna go over here to that truck
I feel ya. I think you're probably right.
because there's a lot of space from where the
Here it
door
comes.
is, and he would have had to drug her up until that point because she's just dead weight. So I just
Yeah,
don't think she was in there.
I hear ya. That's I think that's see, oh, this is one reason why I'm just watching the truck right now to really like see if there's like any kind of movement. Wait, I gotta go back a second here.
Having
And then I gotta
I,
here.
there go.
I don't know. I don't know. See, okay, this is why it's so maddening to me, Bree, is because, everything someone says, I'm like, that's a good point. That's really smart. Yeah, you're right. And it's, oh,
And
I don't
I've always
know.
wondered. She she deleted all her text messages, but
Yeah,
yet she returned. Didn't she return some clothes of Chris's to the police? I always
yeah.
wondered what were they a pair of jeans and a black long sleeve shirt?
Oh, wow, that would have been really freaking stupid.
Because why would she? Me personally, which I would have never been in that situation, but me personally, if I would have burned them, I would have tossed them in the trash. But why would you wash them and fold them neatly and return them to the police? So I always wondered what they were that she returned back.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That is interesting.
Because the person obviously was trying to, they had on baggy jeans and a long shirt, a black shirt. They tried to, I guess, tried to be smart and dress alike because they knew the camera was there. I just always wondered. I just always wondered about that.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look into. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it could be nothing. It really could have been his clothes he
But
left.
but it's a detail that if known, okay, now you know that and you can move on, right?
Yeah.
So Crazy Daisy's here just she says, Kelly, the video from Nate's downloads, which comes in 3-minute clips, are not put in the correct order. That's why the cab lights comes on as he walks away. Thank you for that. So Crazy Daisy's to this point, regardless of which source this came from, because I have like one from each of them on my computer, but this was just the first one I saw because I wanted, in the interest of playing it for you guys. From what I saw, both, never mind. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look into that. I was going to say that up until this point, everything was chronological, but now that I'm saying it, I'm second guessing myself because I checked that a long time ago before I knew more than I did now. So I don't know if my assessment would have been correct then. See, that's the thing, guys. It's like I even like with my own conclusions, like as I'm like hearing more and learning more things, when I go back and check myself on some things, I will still stand by them solid. Like this is what I just saw when I saw Chris Watts walking back that last time. But then sometimes I change my mind. It just all depends. It's so freaking maddening.
That's what this case does to you.
Yeah. Yep. That is what this case does.
It's a rabbit hole.
No, going to drag body out the front with the lights on, daylight approaching. Right. And then I've heard Dave and other people saying that, and I'm like, of course not. But then the next, and I think Dave I think that Dave, Seeking the Truth with Dave, is probably right on that. But then if you take it a step further, my next comment to myself is, because I have these conversations with myself like a totally crazy person. Well, so many stupid things were done. Maybe he would do that. Well, then the next extension, the next logical extension is, but he didn't do all of these things because, he was frank, this is why I feel like we need to get some qualified, certified experts inserted into this case, because you can talk yourself into the insane asylum.
I think the most important part for me personally would be the autopsies. And that was
Yeah.
the first thing that when I really started looking at this case, I went to the autopsy because I wanted to see, Shanann's time of death. And when I saw that it was listed as when they, you know, found her or recovered her, and
Yeah.
they listed, like, there was no reason whatsoever they could not. I mean, they can find bones that have been buried and can give a roundabout time frame of when they died, but you
Right.
can't give a. And the reason why they couldn't do that is because I don't think she was killed in the house. I don't think she even was killed Monday because the autopsy.
Yeah. I
I mean,
know.
and I think that that's what. And there was another girl found
I
at
know
a
Mia's
service.
done some really convincing work on that.
there it's crazy. There was another girl found at a service site, totally unrelated, but
Uh-huh.
they had the same coroner who did the Watts do that autopsy, and it was like different counties. So why would Anadarko have the same coroner do both autopsies?
Right.
And in the autopsy it's listed the girls as having two different outfits on. Like, this is a murder case of two
I
little girls and a pregnant woman. How do you not know what those children were wearing?
I know.
Like,
I
you're
know.
like, that's a baby. How do you get that? It just never set right with me. And it's like, now there's really no going back and doing an
There's
autopsy on
no, and
them.
most medical examiners, just, being somebody who's, and I see some comments here, guys, I want to touch on too. Being someone who's followed true crime my whole life, when you already hear most medical examiners speak, like what I've heard a lot say is their feeling is that they are doing the work for the person who passed away. They are there for them. They want to tell their story. They want to get it right. It's for them.
Right.
So, it just seems like something a medical examiner would not get wrong. I agree with you on that 100%.
I mean,
And
and
then,
all the things that he got wrong with Shanann, like, unless we were lied to, and unless she just did some really good makeup work with that huge scar on her neck, and she had no visible pre-surgical sites. She was in a car accident, and to my knowledge, if I remember correctly, she had metal rods in her back.
yeah.
And I'm a nurse, so if you have metal rods in your back, there's going to be an incision site on that area.
Yeah, but they did mention the hardware in the neck though, didn't they?
I don't think so. The thing, the autopsy, I have it written down in there. I really don't think they did. It, I don't think they did. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't think they did.
I feel like, and again, this also, and if the discovery weren't so long, I tried to find it for you now. I feel like they did not mention the scar. This is what I was believing. But they did mention like the hardware in the neck. And I feel like it was like CFA. I feel like they did make a mention of that. But I also felt like, but I don't know, because
Okay.
I do not claim to have any knowledge of how autopsy should be written. I thought it was in a weird spot in the autopsy. Let me just read some of these comments super, super quick, and let me know if you find that, honey. So Sugar Beet says there would be some sort of movement, a big move or something. Yeah, I think that's what Bree was saying, right? Yeah. And then Tabitha says, and hi Tabitha. Tabitha says, where'd it go? I'm trying to show your comment, sweetie. Oh wait, okay. What if him using the remote keys to unlock the truck so the lights would go on? We had decided, I did some research independently, and from what Dave was saying just before, apparently he or Tanya did. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to talk to him about that because I didn't hear TJ cover anything like this on any of her videos, but it doesn't mean she didn't. I haven't watched every bit of all of them. I wish I could, but what I learned was at the time they did not have remote starters for these trucks, and that fleet is installed by Anandarko, so that was not a possibility. But I think we're going to look further into that and good thinking. And then Susan Hughes says, and hi Susan, says, Kelly, the light that you see before the red car is Betty's headlights. I think you're right. Yep, I think you're right too. Just want to point out to you guys and see what you thought. I think you're right on that. Aussie Girl Jen says, well, I meant to highlight Susan's too. I'll get back. Aussie Girl Jen says, there's a lot of room under the truck to see someone dragged on the ground. Yep, I think you're right. Yet we didn't see it, only a shadow. Yes, watch the wheels for suspension movement. There's none. Yep, I think you're right. I'm glad I showed it to you guys. It's just, in my mind, I see that every time. And, I have said about this shadow footage, like, I think sometimes we can look at something. If you look at something long enough, you're going to start seeing things sooner or later, right? And I think that it's easy to do with this shadow footage. And then Cat Whisperer sees what I'm talking about, but oh my God, I can see what you're talking about. She sees the movement. Yeah, because it's weird, man. So Desire, there's room on the floorboard of the truck. That's something I do disagree with. I do think that there was room in the back of the truck. That's one of those things where, that's just one of those things, I guess. And I hear the case for there not being room, but I still think there's room. So let's see. Sugar Beet says he was paranoid about brake insurance. Tell me more about that. I don't know anything about that, Tabitha. And then Sugar Bee says makes sense because I believe the whole part was the distraction for what was going on in the backyard. So I think you're talking about Bree saying he knew he was on camera. I know she's smart. I keep telling her that whenever I see her comments. She's good. You're good, Bree. So then Debbie Morrow says he's definitely dragging her. Then he walks around to the passenger side of the back door. Yes, or something like he's pulling it in further. Debbie, and that's exactly what I see. What is happening in chat right now is exactly like the thing that happens in my mind all the time, or as I watch people's videos. There are legitimate arguments for things that are in competition with each other. That is why I want us to bring in as many experts on as many different aspects of this case, as many different topics as possible to give some analysis, because that's the only way we're going to get anywhere. What do you think, Bree? Oh, can't hear you, honey. You hear Bree? Did I turn my... I can't hear you, Bree. Can other people hear her? Let's see if I don't know. I still can't hear. She's not blocked on my end, though. I still can't. Okay, so she muted. Now let me unmute. Oh. All right, Bree, talk. Let me see if I can hear you. Damn, I can't hear her. Can you guys in chat hear Bree? Yeah, Bree, we can't hear you. I don't know why, sweetie. Try if you want to try. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon, though. Anyway. Oh man, Yeah. If you want to try logging back on and off, Bree, because I can't hear you. But I want to see if she has anything more to say. Here, I'm going to put the link up again, Bree, because I just want to see if you have anything more to say. I'm so grateful that you came on, and I feel like maybe you didn't get enough time to talk. Hi, honey. I've got to go soon because time goes so fast when we're doing these. Hi, honey. How are you? Okay, let's see if we can hear her now. Let me stop sharing too. Maybe that'll make a difference. You've got to lay down soon, honey, okay? My son has football in the morning. He just started football. So Debbie Morrow says, I know it's confusing about the dogs. Oh God, the dogs. We can't even go there right now. Let me let Bree back in here. Let's see.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Hey, there you are.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna have
My
to wrap it
Wi-Fi.
up soon. My son has football early in the morning, so I've got to do some things, get ready for that. But I wanted to see what your other thoughts were.
There's just so many. I mean, I just feel like from start to finish, like I said earlier, corruption from the start. From NK's dad being in the interview and him saying, wanting to wrap this up. This case needs to be for no room for error. And it was in 3 months. When have you ever known that to happen? And then
Right.
literally, they didn't investigate anybody else. They didn't investigate Nicole, her ping. They didn't do anything. They gave him a plea that they didn't have to give, but they did that
Yes,
for a reason.
exactly.
And the DA, I mean, I think the DA enjoyed money and got a lot of it. And
Yep.
it goes really, really deep. But, there was 4 people, and I have 3 children. I can't imagine my husband killing me
Oh my God.
and getting away with it.
Oh my
Well, and his
God. Oh
mistress
my
getting,
God.
I can't
No.
imagine that. So I just feel like Chris needs to be in prison. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't.
No.
But
No. I
I
don't
believe
think
there
that.
were a lot of other people, and I believe there were other people involved other than NK. I don't think it was just Chris and Nicole. I think there were plenty of other people involved, and it's just proven it. And the evidence is already there. Everything is there. It's
Yeah.
just it wasn't looked at. But thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much too. Thank you so much for coming on, Bree. I hope I let you
Yep,
speak enough. And
you
I
did. Thank
definitely,
you.
I definitely want you guys in chat. Oh my gosh, you have so many great thoughts. And I saw, like let's definitely, let's see. I want to schedule the next live for when I can definitely be doing it, which I'm trying to think of when that's going to be. It'll be Thursday or Friday night. Okay. So I think we all need to get together and talk about our thoughts on different things and try to figure some things out. I see some people wanting to do that here. So thank you so much for coming on,
All
Bree.
right.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
I always love when I
Bye.
see her comments. I'm like, oh, it's a Bree comment. I'm gonna go read now. So awesome, guys.
I
Well,
like
thank you
watching the
so much.
videos. They're good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. And thank you
Bye.
to those that moderated. And thanks for coming up, Joan. You were awesome to talk to. And I'm going to go and read all of these comments again. And it's just such great thought. So I'll post it soon tomorrow at some point when I figure out what time I can definitely commit to, but definitely Thursday night or Friday night, I'm going to do a live again. And thank you, Debbie McLean. Yeah, we just got to hash all this out. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Loretta. What everyone's going to do if it comes to find out. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We got to figure out what's going on. Yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go take care of my kid now, but thank you guys so much for being here. And I'll see you guys again really, really soon. Thanks, guys.